Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit from CynicalBrit.com and the YouTube channel Total Halibut. Day 2 Roundup. Day 2, at least we assume it's Day 2. We've kind of lost track of time here at Gamescom. It's actually the Friday Roundup of everything that we saw. We'll be doing, needless to say, one more of these, and what we'll also be having is the most ridiculously difficult to encode video ever, which will be our everything we did at Gamescom Roundup video, which will come up when we've uploaded all of our footage, and it's actually going to have links to everything in it. It's going to be hard, but we're going to put it together. Anyway, that's beside the point. You want to hear about video games, so I'm going to talk about video games for you. So the first thing that we actually ended up doing on that day is we headed into Hall 7, if I recall correctly, and we were able to get a hold of Rayman Origins. So Rayman Origins is a download-only game coming from Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, depending on how you want to pronounce them, and it is a very high-definition platformer in the style of the original Rayman. So we've got no raving rabbits, we've got no 3D platforming nonsense. It is pure 2D platforming. It is very, very slick, well animated, and it looks really, really nice. We're talking about full 1080p, crisp, what looks to be hand-drawn graphics. I mean, if you remember the graphic style from Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, for instance, it's a very, very similar graphic style indeed. And it also has 4-player co-op, which is kind of in the style of New Super Mario Bros. For Wii, but there don't seem to be all that many opportunities to deliberately sabotage your, I'd say, compadres, but that's definitely a very odd way of putting it, considering how it used to be in New Super Mario Bros. For Wii, which, yeah, we used to call it New Super Asshole Brothers for Wii. There's a reason for that. It is literally a game about dicking people over, but in the case of Rayman, that's not really that, but it does have some very intriguing level design. We, needless to say, did get a video of that. That actually was probably the worst quality video we got, simply because we had some weird flickering issues with it. They actually brought some bizarre televisions. We think actually brought American TVs or something like that, and we of course have a PAL camera, so it was one of the very few videos where we had problems filming it, which kind of sucked, but still, you can still see how cool it looks. And I actually played co-op with Frank, of course, our head of publisher and developer relations here at Cynical Brit, as well as the camera operator for this entire trip. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that a lot. It was a really, really fun game. There was a level where we were covered in bats. That was good. There were so many bats. So yeah, you will see that. We'll probably upload it in the next few days. As we said, we've got so many videos. I think we've actually managed to clock up at least 30, probably more around 40, I would think, in this entire event. And I don't actually know of all that many organizations that managed to do 40 videos across Gamescom. So we're getting there. Yep, we're getting there. It's what a two-man crew can do if they're enthusiastic and an absolute pain in the ass. So there you go. Anyway, yeah, Rayman Origins was really, really good, and I'd highly recommend that you look into it because it's another really good quality console download-only release from Ubisoft. And Ubisoft have really been slacking on the PC department lately, but they've been doing really good for consoles. So they released, say, Outland, which was really great, and now they've released yet another high-quality platform in the form of Rayman Origins, or at least they will do very, very shortly, depending on when you're watching this video. Whatever the case, we then got to go and see Dark Souls, which is, of course, the sequel to one of my favorite console RPGs ever, really, which was, of course, Demon Souls on the PS3. Dark Souls is really more of the same. There are a couple of different mechanics that you will see in the video, but it is hard as nails. And if you thought that the characters seemed like they weighed a lot in the first game, even more so this time. Very sluggish, deliberately sluggish, I might add. Doesn't mean the combat's bad. They made it so that a knight in full armor, he moves, he rolls, he fights like a knight in full armor. Only armor doesn't really protect you in this game against anything whatsoever. You tend to die in a few hits. As always, it is hard, but it is very, very good. The build you played did have some frame rate issues, but that's mostly because, of course, it's still a work in progress. It's not out yet. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I believe they were planning multi-platform release. There were even rumors about a PC release for that. If they were able to do that, that would be the best thing in the world. So I beseech From Software and Namco Bandai to actually do that, because it is a hardcore game that PC guys would really adore. Okay, so after that floor footage, which was, of course, the first two console games that we did. We haven't done many console games this time around, but yeah, first two console games we did. We actually had an opportunity to go and see a forthcoming game that has not been properly shown to the public yet at all. It's called Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. Now, this is it's a collaboration, in fact, between 38 Studios, which is the developer put together by the one and only Kurt Schilling, Certainly should be aware of him. If not, I suggest you Google him. And Big Huge Games. You remember Big Huge Games? Rise of Nations, Rise of Legends? Yeah, big deal. And they're making an RPG. And this RPG is very much focused on having a mashup of Fable and sort of Morrowind gameplay with full-on action combat. And by full-on action combat, I'm talking God of War, I'm talking Devil May Cry, I'm talking Bayonetta. And we actually got to play a pre-alpha build behind closed doors. It is so early on that they just are not showing it publicly to anybody. But my God, was it well polished for being a pre-alpha. Really great voice acting, lots of interesting choices. No morality system, which is cool. They just wanted you to be able to have the freedom to do whatever you want. An interesting idea that you're actually a blank slate. You don't start with a class, and you end up unlocking different destinies as you go along, which are effectively classes with bonuses. And you can even actually go the infamous tri-spec. If you remember in WoW, a really bad player would go equal points into every tree. Makes no sense, of course. You could do the same thing in Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, but it'll actually reward you for it. There's actually a class called the Universalist, which encompasses all of that. So the thing that was really impressed me about the game, other than the fact that it looked great, was the combat was so fluid. And I'm talking about full-on, combo-based, God of War style, not sacrificing anything. Nothing whatsoever. You remember how Fable kind of had an action RPG thing? This is that dialed up to not just 11, but 5,000. You could not actually distinguish this from one of those spectacle fighters. It doesn't sacrifice a thing to play the way that it does. It feels awesome as a direct result of that. There's a great sense of humor in the game. There's all sorts of awesome mechanics and systems. We have a full interview that we actually did one interview before we went in and saw it, and then we did a really in-depth one afterwards that talked about all the mechanics and everything about Kingdoms of Amalur. You really want to pay attention to this. It's being published by EA. It is going to be a major AAA release early on in 2012, assuming that they actually get good timing on it. So keep an eye out for Kingdoms of Amalur, folks. It is one to watch. Okay, what else did we do? We actually did an interview with the Old Republic, which you have now already seen because we've actually put it up on the channel. Once again, we've been covering Old Republic almost every day because BioWare have been so awesome with access. They have let us in to do all sorts of different things. We have some forthcoming delicious things for you folks. Oh yeah, so if you're looking for the Old Republic coverage, we've pretty much got the best at Gamescom, and I'm happy to just come out and say that right now. We got so much cool access. Those guys were incredible. So thank you very much to BioWare for being so cooperative on that, and hopefully you guys get a really good impression of Tor and whether or not you think it's worth having at that point. Checking my notes right here. I will happily admit that I'm doing that because we've covered so many games. End of Nations. Yes, MMORTS action from the former Westwood guys, Petroglyph, and of course in cooperation with Tryon Worlds, the guys who brought you Rift. They're bringing it End of Nations, an MMORTS game. We filmed 2 pieces of footage for that. We filmed a full presentation, which shows you all sorts of things. That was actually a press presentation, but we were allowed to film it anyway because it's Petroglyph and Tryon, and they're amazing. So you get to see something really exclusive because I don't think anyone else filmed that. So we showed you that. There is bacon. You will learn about bacon. Just trust me on this. There was a lot of bacon involved in this. So there was also a hands-on that we got. We got a hands-on, a dual commentary with one of the development team right there, and it was really, really great. I actually am looking forward to that game a lot now. It's classic Westwood style. Yes, it's got Frank Lepaki music. It's got units like you would expect. For instance, there's a tank called the Titan. It's a huge tank. It's got 4 gun barrels. It's like, this is so Westwood. There's a gigantic helicopter gunship with 2 blades that's 5 times larger than a helicopter gunship actually should be. There are nukes. There are nuke turrets. Just understand me for a second. There are nuke turrets. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's supposedly going to support over 50 players in the same matchup. They were talking 26 on 26. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, End of Nations finally got an idea of what that was all about, because I was very confused before we saw it. It's like, how does End of Nations work? Now we know. And as I say, we've got 2 videos showcasing End of Nations for you, and I had a lot of fun with that title. Last, but by no means least, ladies and gentlemen, oh yes, Actually, I'm not going to tell you about that just yet, because there was one other thing we did, which was All Zombies Must Die. Yep. We actually got to cover that one. That is the game by the same guys who brought you Burn Zombie Burn, if you remember correctly. All Zombies Must Die, 4-player co-op zombie slashing action. Painful. Pain. It was wonderful, actually. It was good fun. We did a dual commentary with that once again, so we did a little bit of 2-player on that one. I'm not going to apologize to them because they were actually kind of dickish about it, but the 2 people that we ended up kicking off the dual commentary, as they were walking away, their comment was asshole press. So yes, apparently their enjoyment was more important than promoting this indie title and potentially getting them a lot of sales. So there you go, folks. Typical entitled gamer whining even exists at Gamescom, so there you go. English speakers, of course. The Germans are far too polite for that kind of thing. Okay, so last but by no means least, Torchlight 2. Torchlight 2, we've done 3 videos of. We had the longest appointment out of anybody. I'm happy to brag about that because we have a great relationship with Runic Games. As you well know, we promoted the hell out of Torchlight 1. We did a interview about Torchlight 2 quite some time ago when it was very, very early on in the development process. Now we get hands-on with a product that is getting very close to being finished. And we did 3 videos for you. We did 2 developer commentaries with myself doing interview questions, and we did 1 very lengthy 30-plus minute, I believe, hands-on with myself and Frank both playing. And it was a bit funny, I have to say. It's a bit irreverent, to say the least. It was the last appointment of all at Gamescom before they flew back out to PAX. They were tired, but they were also very chilled out, and of course, they know how we do things. We tend to do things in a, I wouldn't say an odd way, but we're very fun-loving. I mean, for instance, we've been like the only guys who've done this dual commentary format with the headsets. A lot of developers have been, what's going on? We've never done this before. And what we've explained to them is, look, this is a really fun format that people actually like. They really, really enjoy watching it. You guys have responded so well to it. And we think this is going to be our thing. This is what we do now at events. We do dual commentaries with developers. We don't just do stuffy interviews. We get them on a sportscasting headset. We get them to talk about their game. We get them to play their game while they're talking about it. We swap over, have hands-on. They keep talking about it. In fact, I think the only site that I could really think that does a lot of that kind of thing is probably Giant Bomb. Once again, Giant Bomb with the amazing ideas, all sorts of great setups. Check them out, giantbomb.com. And the developers love it, man. They really, really do. They're a little bit anxious about it to start with, but they really ease into it. I think they feel very relaxed in that format. We did that for Torchlight 2. I think it demonstrates the viability of the format because I think you guys are really going to love that. The only problem I think we had with that was the screen was a little hazy. That's simply because of the lighting in that area. There's not a lot we can really do about it, but I'll tell you this for a fact. We will be getting full-on access before it comes out and bringing you Fraps footage nice and clean, things like that. Not to say that our footage here isn't good, because I think that we've actually done a pretty solid job. Yeah, I know, I'm blowing my own trumpet. Here it is. This is my trumpet. Yes, it's not very good trumpet. Whatever the case. We've been doing all of this off-screen stuff, and I think that the Canon XA10 that we've actually got for this has done a fantastic job of providing really good quality footage, so I'm really happy with how it's gone. Whatever the case, in terms of Torchlight 2, we will, of course, be bringing you coverage after that, but there should be 1 video up on the site right now, depending on when I am able to upload this roundup. There's another one coming up, and then there's the big 30-minute one, which is, of course, the 2-player co-op between myself and Frank, with Max Schaefer, the head of Runic Games, the outspoken and the well-spoken, indeed. That there are things said which, if their PR was not as cool as it is, probably would have never made it into the interview. Wanda Russell, what an absolute legend she is. It's funny as hell, folks, and of course, don't take it too seriously. A lot of jokes are being made. A lot of respect is, of course, given out by Runic to all sorts of different companies, and it's just a bit of friendly banter, but it is so funny. So yeah, watch Torchlight 2. Torchlight 2 is such a promising game. Okay, that actually rounds up pretty much everything that we did on the Friday, which we technically call Day 2, if you want to describe the press conference as the press day, in fact, as Day 0. We've got 1 more roundup to go. We are not here on Sunday. We're actually heading back, so we did get plenty more. And keep an eye on the channel, of course, youtube.com/TotalHalibut. And please, guys, if you can, if you like a video, please remember to click the thumbs up, because it really helps out the channel so very much. We really appreciate it. And just a quick reminder to those who are logged into YouTube, just click that little button. That's all you have to do, and it means so much to us. Thank you very much for your support. Hopefully you've enjoyed all our coverage so far. Loads more videos to come out. It's probably going to take us about a week to upload everything that we've got, so please be patient, and we'll see you next time.